exposit about Ouroboros. Usually there is some
Oh,
kind
this
of
is
story
just
behind an
okay.
ice
Never mind. This is all meme stuff. I actually thought this was a legitimate video about it. Yeah, never mind about that. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought it was. We're gonna watch the Lost Ark video instead. It's pretty cringy. No, I don't think it's cringy. It's just not what I thought it was gonna be. Okay. Dear Lost Ark and Smilegate. And you know Stoops is serious because he's using Korean hashtags here. Here we go.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Stoops. If you don't know who I am, I'm a Western Lost Ark player.
So he's doing his absolute best. He really wants the people that are watching, please listen to this. Here we go.
You may have seen me on YouTube or
doing the
Twitch
Korean
or,
subs and everything.
Just various videos of mine. I'm gonna have this video be translated in Korean for some of the Korean users or watchers that play Lost Ark, just because I think we all play the same game, and I'd like to include you in this conversation. So, just a little backstory about myself. I've been playing Lost Ark for about 1.5 years now. I play on Korea sometimes. I play on Russia. And I also play in the US, or the Western version. And, you know, what actually got me into playing Lost Ark was the 2021 Winter Loa-on. That was really the... what got me most excited about the game.
The funny thing about what got me into playing Lost Ark is the battle against the dragon with like a 20-person raid. Bro, how can they do this in an ARPG? This is what the fucking Deathwing fight should have been in Dragon's Soul. This should have been Deathwing. Bro, are you kidding me? It makes me so mad. And it's not even in the game anymore. So, like, ironically, the only fight that I saw that I thought was really fucking cool is not even in the game. Whatever happened to that? We gotta add that back in.
Was seeing Gold River come on stage and talk about the game and the passion that the developers have for the game. And most importantly, coming from games like World of Warcraft, what got me most excited to play Lost Ark was the direct answers that they would have towards the community's concerns about the game.
Well, yeah,
so Gold River would always take questions that may not have been the easiest questions, and he would talk about them. Regardless of his answer, I always loved that he would address the concerns that players had. And
that's true.
You know, even when Lost Ark was coming out in the West, there was an interview with like Amazon that was on Twitch.
This is the one where he literally is talking shit about Amazon on the interview live, announcing Amazon publishing his game. He's like, yeah, I mean, we're going to probably have to fix some stuff. Obviously, you know, Amazon publishing, I mean, there's some bullshit. I don't know what's going on over there, guys. I'm going to be honest. But, you know, once they sort their shit out, we'll be fine.
With Gold River at the time.
That's real? Yeah, it is.
And he said, ask me whatever you want. And they had asked about pay to win and all of these things, and he answered them. Now, you may not always like the answer that they have, but they wouldn't go, you know, he wouldn't avoid the question, he would directly address it, and I think that spoke volumes to their care and their awareness of the issues that the game had.
Yeah, I probably will do that.
And I think that a lot of companies are always worried to talk about problems with their game because they think if they talk...
I think that's less true, but it is definitely true. Yeah, how to tell people that you have a problem is acknowledge it. If you never acknowledge there's a problem, then all you have are a few people in chat wondering, am I the schizo? Maybe there isn't a problem and I'm just crazy because nobody ever tells me I'm right.
Talk about it, it's going to cause issues and people are going to get angry. But I think a lot of video game players and MMORPG players, they're just looking for that in a company. Just the authenticness, the genuineness, the realness, they're looking for that in a developer. And I think Smilegate provided a lot of that. Now, with all of that being said, I really enjoy playing Lost Ark. The main reasons why is I love the raids. I personally really love the community. And most importantly, The combat is so fun.
I think the combat's good. I like the bosses, and it feels good to play. Honestly, I think a lot of things about Lost Ark are great. I like being able to like sail around. I mean, I put a lot of time into the game, bro. I did like everything.
There are a lot of issues that I think the game
yeah.
has because the game is only about 4 years old, or give or take. And when you're making a game and it's a new MMORPG, it takes time to develop a wide plethora or a wide variety of content. And Lost Ark has been doing really well in the raid content, where the raids are generally really fun. The classes are pretty fun to play.
Yeah, they are.
But there is some issues in the gatekeeping aspect for new players to get into the game. And
well, it's also like just like your casual everyday experience. Like, yes, doing the raids are great, but at the same time, the everyday, day-to-day gameplay of Lost Ark is extremely grindy and mind-numbing to the point where it's not enjoyable.
Of that, the daily routine has a lot to be desired. There are many ways to improve that. And I was looking, to this past winter 2022 Low-On to address a lot of those issues, because I think that Lost Ark has all of these systems. An example could be sailing content. An example could be islands. An example could be storytelling content.
And I think sailing content in the islands are great. I did all of them.
Fun mini games, etc. There's so many ways for the game to improve. Even the side activities like boss rush, cubes, chaos dungeons, and guardian raids, things that you're supposed to interact with on a daily.
Those, in my opinion, are the most important, because those are the things that everybody does. So if the core gameplay, which is Guardians and Chaos Dungeons, those are the two main things that you do every single day, and honing, that's how you upgrade your gear in general. If these are bad, the game is bad.
Or weekly basis, there's so many ways to improve upon those. And when you hear back at the last Low-On, the winter Low-On of 2021, they talked about how they were going to focus more on the horizontal content, to have things to do that weren't vertical, right? Raids, because when you came off of Vault-In, Clown, Vicus, Belshazzar, all of those raids, it was a lot of sorry, it's noisy in my neighborhood. There was a lot of honing an item level to do that content. And I think the problem with Lost Ark is that it was focusing too much on those because they were successful, but they needed to also flesh out and create fun things to do outside of that.
Well, it's also like, how do you get there? If you get there by just repeating the same activity, like I honestly think the alt system with Lost Ark is so dumb. I don't understand why I have to make more than one character. I feel like any game that you have to do things on multiple alts every single time in order to get it, it's like the same as like WoW or whatever. Like with Final Fantasy, it is such a fucking relief that like I do the boss, I didn't get the mount, I just go and do it again. Like I just go do it again on this character. I don't have to make a new character just to do this. Like I like playing this character. Let me just keep playing this character.
And when you really think about it, when you really think about it, the last winter Low-On, they said they were going to work on those things.
Yeah.
And they started doing it with the MOD and the islands, storytelling stuff that anyone could enjoy.
And that's actually very good. Some of the island storylines are amazing, and they're incredibly well done, and they're probably some of the best content in the game narrative-wise.
But with that, they were also releasing raids and Abyss Dungeons, Triangle. Those things add to your daily routine for a player, giving them more homework. And when you add in the side activities that are fun to do, when you really get into the game, you find that you don't have a lot of time to enjoy those things. And I know what people are going to say. They're going to say, well, you don't have to do all of these things.
I think that like not having to do something, this is the same problem that things like Torghast had in WoW. is that if you put an advantage in the game and then you blame your players for trying to seek that advantage, that's stupid as fuck, man. Like, you can't just put something in the game and be like, hey, go after this carrot, but if you go after it, then you're stupid for going after the carrot. Well, then don't put the carrot there.
You can do whatever you...
My overall opinion is that all player behavior is the developer's fault. So if players are doing something that's like degenerate, it's the developer's fault. If players are exploiting something, it's the developer's fault. Because the developer is God. And if you make a system, then you can't blame players for trying to maximize it.
It's your choice. No one's making you do that. The problem with that is that the game is designed, right? The game is designed for you to do those activities, right? It creates an environment that makes you feel like you have to do that. And that's a design problem. That's not a player problem, right? If you want players to do those other activities, you need to make a system that allows them to feel like they can do that. There's a saying...
Well, that's what the issue is. It's that people feel like they have to keep running chaos dungeons because it provides a tangible benefit to their character. And people care about character progression. If they didn't, they wouldn't be playing Lost Ark. Lost Ark has some of the best character progression in any MMO. Like, you have massive, tremendous, huge vertical progression in Lost Ark. You do all kinds of different crazy shit, and it all comes together, and you can make your character really good. I think that's amazing.
Called FOMO in the West, where it's like
Yeah.
fear, like you have a fear that you have to do these things. And yes, you can choose whether you want to go into that or not, but it's also on the developers, the people that design the game, to make it in a way that you don't feel that.
Yeah, exactly. It's the developer's fault because people feel like they're compelled to keep up with this stuff. I know there's some people saying, like, not really. Once you get your set, it's minimizing your item level. So let's talk about it. You obviously have your gems, you have your skill point potions, you have all of the other items like masterpieces and things that are associated with that give you skill point potions like Omnium Stars, etc., Island Souls. So all of these things fit together as well. Then you also have your cards. So your cards you can use that can make your character more powerful or give you different advantages for different situations, like Lost One Cliff, Light of Salvation, or you just use the fucking like the healing thing or like the health thing. You have your tripods as well. You have your bracelets. Yeah, this is a new thing. I don't really know that very well yet. I'm going to have to look into it. Yes, you have your credit card. You have your rapport as well. The rapport sometimes will unlock certain things that are useful. And of course, I think that don't certain rapports unlock either a skill point potion or different masterpieces that unlock skill point potions? So like rapport becomes valuable as well. And then you have your ability stones, and then you have your engravings, and like all of this stuff, and then you level up your set bonuses with the clown raid stuff. Like there's a lot that you do to make your character more powerful. And I think that in general, Lost Ark has done a pretty good job to make me feel good about accomplishing those things. I don't have to level to 60 every single time a new raid comes out. And if I want to play another character, I can just put it in the training arena and I can get the character up to 59 immediately. So I think Lost Ark does a great job at those things.
And I feel like right now, Lost Ark, has so many ways to improve to make it feel like a more complete MMO. And I don't think the solution is just adding new classes, adding new raids.
There's enough classes in the game now. Like, we don't need more classes in the game. It's enough. We need more content.
Bring people into the game for a little bit, but the daily routine is something that you interact with every single day, and that's going to stick with you more than just the raid or the new class. They may come back for 2 weeks for a new class, but they're not going to stay when they find out their daily routine feels monotonous.
Yeah.
And my biggest complaint about the game, more than anything, is that when a new player gets into the game, you may add in these new card systems. The card system is terrible, by the way. It's an awful system that alienates new players into the game. It takes too long to get them. And I think it's upsetting to me that Smilegate is so El Cheapo. We use the phrase El Cheapo. They're so cheap that they give out one selectable card pack. You need 90 of them. You know, you need 90 of them to get Light of Salvation 30. Why do you give one? Right?
I actually don't think the cards are that bad. I really don't. I don't think the cards are that bad. I don't think they're great, but you don't need Light of Salvation for anything. You do not need Light of Salvation for any content in the game as far as I know.
A good, successful, healthy game. And what made Lost Ark different at the start was that they did season 2 and everybody came in and they were at the same area, right? Yeah. Everyone was in Punica, everyone was close together. And then as the game progresses, you start separating yourself from new players. Yeah. And these new players don't have a way to interact with people. And the solution is not giving them a 1490 Hyper Express, because there's still so much to do after that. And on top of that, you're never going to have those 30 cards. And even if you give them a new free noob, Makoko card set that gives them damage, a existing player, a Light of Salvation 30 player, is going to see that card set and go, I don't want to play with you, because even if you do the same, you have the same cards or they're close, why would I play with you? Because you're new. I don't want to waste my time.
That's not a bad thing. I actually don't think this is a problem with the game at all. I don't think that it is a good thing to hyper incentivize old players and experienced players to carry new players through content. This is not an advantage of a game. This is not something that is to be chased after. This is not anything positive. For new players, it's a bad thing. I think that what they should do instead is facilitate better ways for new players to experience the content with each other.
I have homework to do. I need to finish these raids to get this gold, because it is a lot of vertical. It's hard to...
Well, this is the same with every game, right? I mean, even in
progress
Final
your
Fantasy,
character. It's not...
Shit, sorry. Even with Final Fantasy, at a lot of cases, you have people that are talking about like, oh, well, this is a fast clear raid. Like, people, they're not joining in this group to do a progression raid. This isn't a blind prog run. This is a... we want to clear this as fast as possible run. But what he's saying is that a lot of the hardcore players feel even more pressed for time because they have to repeat their behavior 6 different times because they're trying to maintain 6 characters and do Legion dailies on every character, or Legion weeklies on every character. It's insane. I'll be right back. I need to use the bathroom. Give me a second. It's 18 Legion raids per week. It's not compared to Final Fantasy. Yeah, and I think that point is very good. That because they have so many responsibilities in Lost Ark, people feel even more compelled to min-max because it's a time... Like, how many of you guys have itemized your time in Lost Ark and thought to yourself, it's better for me to do X than Y, or it's better for me to spend $10 and play for 10 hours? How many of you guys have done that? Because I've done that many times. Like, with items and also with buying stuff. Just a minute. Be back in like 2 minutes. Sorry. I'm back. Sorry. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. Did you wash your feet? Wash your hands? Bro, can y'all stop? Yeah, I'm 2 kilograms lighter. Something like that. All right, let's keep going. We're going to watch the rest of this.
Easy. You need to have these characters if you want to do Boldyke or, Theamine, or Kazaros raid. You need to progress your character to get there, and it's not easy to do. And in order to do that without spending money, you got to play the game, right? And so I think the solution to that is to get these people to play together, right? Is not helping them go up in item level. It does help, but the real solution is including activities in the game that allow new players to interact with existing players, whether it be...
Well, the other problem is also that, like, the Legion raids are designed in a way that players have to actually be there, and if you have, like, one player who's not there, sometimes you have a wipe. And this is what the issue is that the raids are designed in a way that it's harder to carry people. Because people are trying to like buy carries and shit like that for them. Well, guess what? Whenever you make it to where if one person makes a mistake, everybody dies, then yeah, guess what? Everybody's going to be super selective with who they want to play with. Because they don't want to have the one guy that makes a mistake and causes everybody to wipe. How is it? It's fucking common sense. How do you, like, this is the same thing that happened with WoW. It's like we can't have fun. Well, that's the thing. And it's like, who the fuck wipes? Yeah, a lot of people do. And the reason why raids like Nax, for example, and like Classic WoW and Classic Wrath now are so popular is because that's not the way it works. One person dies, they die, it's fine. That's why I think Vaulton is such a good raid. Yes, obviously having everybody alive makes it a lot fucking easier, but you can solo that boss if you want to. And I'm not saying that every boss should be soloable, but I think that the design of making a bunch of content and a bunch of challenges that it's like, oh, well, if you do this wrong, everybody dies, this is boring. And it makes it to where people want to exclude anybody who hasn't done it 10 times.
Crafting, professions, new island events that come up that are rewarding for both people, right? Where you go to an island and it actually gives you useful stuff, useful materials, but you don't care what their engravings are or what their cards are. It's just you need people there. You need to be surrounded by a lot of people. And by doing that...
Well, there are islands like that, like the Spida Island and the other ones where like everybody is like capped at a certain item level. Yeah, this does exist in Lost Ark.
May not seem cool to the existing player, but for a new player to feel like they have a use case, they're useful in the community, is a great way to keep players in the game, engaged in the game, rather than feeling disconnected from the game, right? And so there's so many things like that. This is just an example, I think, of good game design. There's so many things of that. And what upset me about this Winter Loan is not that Gold River isn't there anymore. He comes on stage for 5 minutes, like whatever, right?
Okay.
It's not that I don't like the three, you know, expertise, domination, and endurance, or crit swiftness, or, you know, specialty. It's not that I don't like those guys. It's that Gold River would approach these issues head on and talk about them. And these guys maybe are nervous to talk about them, or the approach has changed, but that's what made Lost Ark popular. Coming from MapleStory and Lineage and all of these other games in Korea, Lost Ark felt different, right? And the community liked that. That's your biggest selling point. That's what makes Final Fantasy popular. That's what makes other games popular, is when the people feel like they feel
like the developers are playing the game. Like a good example of this is like Final Fantasy, like you have combo attacks where it's like you hit 1, 2, and then 3, and like 1 lights up, then 2 lights up, then 3 lights up, right? It's like one of these things. And if you do a ranged attack, the way it used to work is that the ranged attack would break that combo. So if you were at 1, 2, and then you did range attack, you had to go back down to 1, 2 again. But then the developers played the game and they're like, this kind of sucks. Let's just go ahead and let this not interrupt the combos. And it just made the game better. Simple as that. So I think that's why people like it, is because they want to feel like the developers are playing the same game. So if the players are having an issue, they can expect that it will be solved because the developers will be having the same issue.
The directors care. And you can't just say that we've been playing, you know, these guys said that we've been working on the game for 10 years and everyone cares, everyone cares. Okay, show us that you care by addressing the concerns. You can say that you care all you want, and I believe that you care, but you can't be scared to talk about the issues that the game has. And you need to focus on those issues rather than focusing on the other stuff. Okay, you don't want to reduce the homework, fine, but talk about it.
I think that's a huge issue. Like, having to level up alts to do the same activities over and over and over. I don't care how they do things in Korea. I'm not in Korea. There's a Western version of the game that is not in Korea. Make the Western version better.
About it, instead of just being like, oh, that's the bare minimum. Also, to me, it shows major disconnect in the game that you say it's the bare minimum, because you're adding more to the bare minimum. You know, you're not making it And then last thing that I want to say, just from a game design philosophy, and I don't want anyone to get upset with me, it doesn't make sense to do the exact same activity twice in a row, right? Why do I?
He's right. He's 100% right about this. You should not have to do 2 Guardian raids. Because if you are min-maxing on Guardian raids, logically you will want to do the highest level Guardian 2 times. So doing the most efficient thing is boring. That means it's the game developer's fault. Yeah, doing 2 Torghast, also boring.
Go into a chaos dungeon, leave, go back again. I'm already in there. I'm already in the chaos dungeon. Why do I have to exit and then go back? Why do I have to fight, Hanu 2 times, or Kara Elagos 2 times, or what is that stupid tree's name? I can't remember his Son of El 2 times. Just make Son of El 50% stronger, and I do it once. Make chaos dungeons bigger, more mobs, and you do it 1 time.
Yeah.
Right? It's better design. Why do I leave and then go back? Right? So these are the things that I want developers thinking about on the game that I'm playing. Right? Thinking about. You don't have to agree, but I want you to think about it and talk about your thoughts regarding that. Because if I'm thinking about it, there's no way that the people that get paid, which they're probably not getting paid a lot, I understand that, but the people that are getting paid don't think about it. So talk about it, right? Address these issues. Address the new player concerns. You want Lost Ark. And the last thing that I will say, as a Western player, we play the game a lot. Some of us play the game more than people in the KR version. We put in a lot of hours, and some of us now have been playing the game so much that we're almost caught up in hours. How many hours we've been playing the game. A lot of us are very hardcore enthusiast players.
Yeah, it's the same everywhere.
Okay? To not spend 5 minutes to talk about the other versions of the game, don't sit up there and say it's a global game. How could you say it's a global game when you don't even spend 5 minutes talking about the global versions?
That's a good point. Yep. What he's saying here is a very good point. Lost Ark respects your time. I think that Lost Ark respected your time more than, like WoW and BFA did, or like WoW and Shadowlands did, sure. And there are a lot of ways that Lost Ark does unironically support and respect your time. Like, if you get all of your skill point potions, you have that on your entire account, you never have to do it again. Absolutely. There are a lot of cases where that is true, but there are also a lot of cases where that is not true. The issue is that the ways that it respects your time are 1 time only, and the ways that it does not respect your time are day-to-day grinds. So the day-to-day grinds are just pointless, mind-numbing, and time-consuming for no reason, but the 1-time content is actually pretty good.
Okay, and then all that you mentioned, it takes 5 minutes. Just some word, just a word, guys. This is just... It's free marketing. It's free to just say, hey, we really appreciate you guys playing our game in the West. We're excited for the next year. Anything. I know it's a KR event, but you have subtitles for us to understand. And the one thing that you did translate correctly was these rewards are only for KR players. You don't have to give us anything, but not acknowledging us is insane. It's bad marketing. It's not good. It's not a good look. It's going to make people upset. You don't even have to say anything. Don't say that. Don't put the text on the screen that it's only for KR players. Just don't.
I don't really give a fuck about this. I just want them to fix the boring shit in the game and make it to where people don't have to play the game 6 hours a day to compete with somebody who spends $6 a day. That's the problem. I don't give a fuck about if they respect us. I don't care about that shit. Who cares if they live on the other side of the world? I don't care about them. Just make the game good. We don't need to have a fucking get together where we all jerk each other off. Let's just go ahead and make the game good.
Say anything. It's better than saying that. So
I can see what he's saying. And I think that the Lost Ark Western players do feel very neglected. And this has been a problem, I think, not only with Smilegate, but also Amazon.
Upsetting to me, because why I started playing the game was because of the old approach that Smilegate had at Winter Lowon. That's what got me playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not that. That was not, great event. The music was amazing. I love Stormcaster. It was great seeing Gold River. The new content plans, I love it. I personally like the MOD. I like AOS. The MOBA Lost Ark, we need more of that because anyone can do that. And just because...
I don't know if that's something that they should really focus on, because, like, whatever the Lost Ark version of League of Legends is never going to be better than League of Legends. Like, yeah, it's nice that they have this thing that people who like the game can play this, and it's kind of like other games. But really, you should start doing something that, like, what is Lost Ark good at? Lost Ark is really good at putting you in combat with a giant fucking dragon, having you kill that dragon, and look fucking badass doing it. That's what it's really good at. So just do that. More dragons, more titties. That's actually about it.
Like 90% of people won't do it because they don't want to and they don't care, doesn't mean it shouldn't be in the game for the 10% of people that are new to the game that have an opportunity to do something fun where they're not going to get gatekept, where they're not going to get pushed away because they're a Makoko.
Am I crazy for thinking what I think about, like, the raids? How, like, if you have a raid where there's, like, 1 point of failure across 8 people that have to make split-second decisions for 3 minutes straight that will result in the wipe of the entire group, will cause people to gatekeep way harder, because if one person makes a mistake, it's more serious than in other games. I think that there was way less gatekeeping on Vaulton, because if somebody was garbage, who gives a fuck? We'll just bring somebody else and they'll just get carried through it. On Vicus, it's way fucking harder. You can't do that. And on the Clown Raid, it's the same thing. You have one person die, you gotta restart the fucking fight. Like, yeah, you can have somebody die in, like, that fucking epilogue phase or whatever, where, like, you're doing the bingo thing. But other than that, you can't fucking do any of that stuff. So I think that's absolutely, fights would be way too easy. No, they wouldn't. What do you mean they would be way too easy? Vaulton, the difficulty of a fight is not related to its quality. I think Vaulton's the best fight in Lost Ark. It's also the easiest one. But I think it's the best fight. I think it's the most thematic. It's the most interesting. It's cool. And that's all there is to it. Now, I think the Clown Raid is a close second. I do. But also, with the Clown Raid, you only have to worry about 4 people and not 8.
We need more of that, but you need to talk about the problems that people are experiencing. Ignoring them, not a good look. And upsetting for me as a Western player to not be acknowledged at all during the presentation. Who's supposed to acknowledge us? Think about it this way. If you're a Korean viewer listening to this right now, think about it this way. We experience the same problems that you do. Probably worse. We have bots too, right? Insane amount of bots. But we experience the same homework, the same grind, the same honing. Everything is the same, but then we can't tell anybody to help us because Amazon publishes.
It does suck, right? And I wish I could just, yes, if Gold River or somebody at Smilegate just had a Twitter and I could tweet at them, hey, idiot, how fun is it to just kill the same fucking dog 2 times a day? Oh, wow, 2 Guardian raids? Oh, let's kill the same guy twice. Oh, we got to kill the gorilla 2 times. Oh, how fun. Great. Oh, it's the turtle. We got to kill turtle now. Okay. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I wish we could communicate with them better. That would be great.
Is the game. They do marketing. They don't do design. They don't design the game. So how do we get our feedback heard? How do we know you're listening? How do we know that we're being heard?
I think you can argue that they're probably not listening at all because they don't speak English. Like, it's the same as Tower of Fantasy. Like, they don't speak English. Like, it's not even their fault. It's just the way it is.
the topic. And how do we know that you even care if you don't acknowledge us? It's upsetting. It's upsetting. It's annoying. I've been here before with other games, and I'm upset that they did that there. Great show, production-wise, cool event, bad questions, and you know, bad approach to addressing player concerns. Wasn't good. So just some feedback there. And again, I love the game. I love the community. You can do better than that. Be more confident in talking about stuff, even if people don't agree. You should be confident in doing that. It's your game at the end of the day. And that's what made you guys successful, I think, in the first place. So anyway, that's the video. See you guys all in the next one. Peace.
All right, there it is. And so anyway, let's go back over. I'll talk about this a little bit, and we'll get into this specifically and talk about it. I think this is a great video. I think that Stoops is really talking about how it makes him feel, much more so than the actual design of the game. I think that that's really what the focus is. It's like, this is how playing the game makes you feel, etc. Give him a like, give him a sub. This is, I guess, his Clips channel, which is a secondary one. I'll go ahead and do the same myself. So I don't have to do horizontal content, but I also do have to do horizontal content so I'm playing raids, feel comfortable, like wealth runes for Reaper, etc. Well, yeah, but that's one-time only stuff. And I think that the one-time only stuff is really not that big of a fucking deal. Like, if you get, like, for example, getting level 60 and getting all of your skill points, I think that grind is probably good. I don't mind that grind. As an MMO player, I enjoy that. I think that's good. And also, like, let's talk about some other things. Gatekeeping. Gatekeeping in Lost Ark happens for two reasons. Reason number one is because raids are so ball-busting, dick-twisting, fucking nipple-biting punishing, that are nipple biting all the way off, okay? In case you wanted to think you were into that, you're not into this. Like, it is bad. Absolutely fucking awful. Whenever you go in there, you've got 4 fucking people, 8 people, one person does something wrong 6 minutes into the fight, and everybody's dead. Well, of course you're gonna be gatekeepy. Well, you don't want somebody to do that wrong. Like, you don't want to have to sit there and watch them learn this over and over and over until they get it right. Yeah, that's what the issue is. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that people are trying to maximize for time. So it's the same thing with Guardian raids. People don't want to wait for a wipe in a Guardian raid. They just leave the group and find another group. That's just because they're trying to do it 18 times in one day, and they don't want to waste their fucking time. What's the solution? You want to hear what the fucking solution is? I'll tell you. So the solution to this problem is actually incredibly simple. You just stop making mechanics that if one person does it wrong, it kills the raid. Stop designing a game to counteract bussing. This is not that big of a problem. It doesn't matter. If people want to spend gold to get carried through the content, who gives a fuck? Save that stuff for hell mode. Yeah, but just stop doing that. Then it's too easy for people to communicate, no challenge. Is it too easy? So you're saying it's too easy if you don't have mechanics that if one person does it wrong, then the whole raid wipes? I don't really think that's true. Yeah, I don't think that's true at all. You don't want a challenge from homework. Yeah, that's another thing, right? Is that if people are trying to do this content over and over and over, they don't want to have to sit there and wipe while somebody learns to figure it out. They said they're stopping the one-shot mechanics. I don't think there's one in a con. They said so far for Thamine. Yeah, I mean, I think that's good, but that's why you have gatekeeping. That's all I'm saying. Is like, if you create content that one person does it wrong, everybody dies. If you create that type of content, you will have gatekeeping. So you either do that content and have gatekeeping, or don't do it and you don't have gatekeeping. It's that simple. Is FOMO? If you have to do 18 Legion raids a week, time is money. That's true. I think that the amount of times that players have to do raids and have to do like all these chores in the game is too much. Like, they should just make it to where you can do it on one character and get like 80% of the rewards that somebody would do would get for doing it on all their alts. I think that incentivizing people to play the same content 8 times a week is not good for the game. And I don't care if somebody works harder and they deserve it. I don't care. It's bad for the game. It creates a unhealthy relationship with the game, and it causes people to burn themselves out. So stop doing it. Why design the game in a way that players want to focus on burning themselves out? Also promotes botting. Yes, it is. Mythic Plus? Well, Mythic Plus caps out, right? The gear caps out. You can do Mythic Plus, and after you get the gear from Mythic Plus, you're done. You don't have to keep doing it. Games designed around bot farms making money from whales. But the problem is, like in Korea, that's not the way it works because they all have real ID for logging onto the internet. So they don't have a botting problem over there hardly at all.